running your business, real estate business like a business, Paul Kellum.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Real quick, before you start the timer, this is just a 5 to 7 minute snippet of a 3-hour course that I am teaching for continuing ed starting this September. And Catherine, when if you want an additional challenge while you're judging me, look to see if you can notice at least 2 things that I have stolen from Craig Valentine. And now we can start. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Running Your Real Estate Business Like a Business. I want to start off before we get rolling here and find out a little bit more about you. Raise your hand if you consider yourself a rookie agent. 5, 6, okay. Raise your hand if you consider yourself a seasoned agent or a veteran agent. Okay. The reason I bring up that, raise your hand if you're just here for, you thought this was an AA meeting. Okay. Or you're just here for the continuing education credits. The reason I bring that up early on is because being not a younger agent, but a relatively younger agent at the course we were at recently, who went to that Cobo Banker course on Tuesday, the statistic that the average real estate agent age is 57 years old. I found that pretty surprising. I'm 31 years old, so not that young, but I'm not at the 57. When I teach this course, I end up seeing a lot of people that are more seasoned than I am. And I like to remind them, if any of you heard the story of the Zen Buddhism story of the cup being full, the cup full? Nobody?
No.
Okay, if you knew it, I was going to have you tell it instead of me. There's a Zen expert. He's an expert on Zen, and he wants to meet a Zen master. So he proceeds to climb up a mountain, go on this journey up to the top of a mountain, and he goes, he's pushing eagles out of the way and rocks out of the way, and gets all scuffed up and gets to the top of the mountain, and sure enough there's the guy. Have you seen the Karate Kid? He looks like Mr. Miyagi, very old, very wise, has a loincloth on. He's the Zen master. The Zen expert sits down with the Zen master and starts telling him everything he knows about Zen, and going on and on and on, and talking and telling him everything he knows. And the Zen master stops him and says, "Would you like a cup of tea?" He says, "Yes, that would be very nice." So he continues talking, telling him, telling everything he knows. While he's doing that, the Zen master starts pouring the tea. He's pouring and pouring. The guy's talking and talking and talking. He's pouring and pouring, talking. The cup gets full. It gets to the top. It starts to spill over the edge onto the saucer. The guy's still talking. It spills off the saucer onto his leg, burns his leg. He says, stops him. He says, "The cup is full. Stop pouring. The cup is full." And the master says, "You are like the cup. You are so full of what you know that you don't have any room for anything else." And I've heard that story several times and seen it told in several different places, including the movie 2012. But when I heard it from Dr. Wayne Dyer, he used it to illustrate the point that you, to some degree, always need to be a beginner. Always, to the expert, there's only one way to do something. You know everything there is to know, and your mind is closed. You don't want to take anything else in. You're like the full cup. So I just challenge you with this course to 2 things. Have an open mind. Try and keep your cup empty so that you can take in and realize that there is something that you can learn from everybody. And there's something that I can learn from you as well. So if you have some ideas that you want to contribute to the class, please let me know. Let the class know. Share them with the class. My goal for this class is to be a learning experience and everybody to feel like they got something and that they were able to give something. So is that fair enough? Yes? Good.
Woohoo.
A little bit about myself. I'm Paul Kellum. I'm with the Dakota County office with the Kellum Group. The Kellum Group has been in business since 1986. I've been in the industry since 2005. The Kellum Group is been President's Circle Award winners for the last several years, since about 2000. Anyway, that's enough about us. The reason why I'm up here today, why we're talking about how to run your business like a business. There is when I was meeting with Tina Graham at the Continuing Education Department here at Coldwell Banker, talking about this course and brainstorming a little bit, one of the things she brought up to me was an interesting survey, and I'm going to screw it up a little bit. I don't know the exact numbers. You can Google it when we're done. But she said there was a Harvard survey done where they interviewed the students from a certain Harvard graduating class and asked them, who has a business plan written, who doesn't have a business plan written. Out of that survey, those Harvard students that had a written business plan constituted 90% of the wealth that came out of that group. So just an astounding figure to me. 90% of the wealth came just by simply having a written business plan. Raise your hand if you have a written business plan to some degree. Okay, good. And you may have some ideas on what's worked for your plan for the class you'll want to share a bit later here. There's another reason you want to have a written business plan is an analogy I came up with. There is let's say you're going to go on a race, right? A car race, automobile race. There's two cars you have to choose from to go on this race. Have you ever seen the first car? Have you ever seen the movie Uncle Buck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've seen the movie. What does this car look like? You know the car he drives around? Well, you know what a jalopy is? It's a big, I think it's covered completely in rust. It has a coat hanger for the antenna. It billows out smoke and backfires every time he shuts it off. That's the first car. The second car, do you know what a Ferrari Testarossa is? Some of you? I was watching a movie the other day, and there was they're usually bright red or bright yellow, and my wife, who knows nothing about cars, I said, do you know what kind of car that is? She said, it's a Ferrari. So I figured most people know. It's very expensive, very fast, probably run around $250,000. That's the other car you have to choose from. Now, which car would you choose if you were going to go in that race? Just a brief survey.
A Ferrari.
Okay. Well, I forgot to mention that this is a race that is going through a development, very complex D.R. Horton subdevelopment, and it's almost like a maze, and there's only one way through. The jalopy has a map of the development in the seat, and you don't get to keep the car when you're done with the race, by the way, just so you know. The jalopy has a map in it of the development. The Lamborghini has nothing, no navigation, no map or anything. And when you win the race, you get $1 million. So you can buy the Ferrari when you're done if you want. Which car would you choose now? The one that has the map or the one that has no map?
The one that has
Map.
Sure. And that's the simple point that I'm illustrating. Having a map, have you ever seen someone that's dumber than you are, that's earning more money than you are, or that's meeting more of their goals than you are? That you think, well, how in the world? They're the jalopy. They just have a map. It has nothing to do with what skills you were given or what you were doing. It's just about having a map. And I'm going to conclude that, and we're going to take our first break here, real quick, a water break, and then we'll come back and we'll go into the rest of the course. So thank you, and look forward to learning some more when we get back.